Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. I'm on the B side of the table today because I have something up on the wall that I'm working on, so I can't take it off the design wall right now. So today on the calendar is a Scrap-a-licious day. So I wanted to show this block to you that's in progress, and I've showed you the block before, but a few of you have noticed it laying over there and you forgot that I showed you before, so you keep asking about it. So today you get to see it again. So this is the Scrap-a-licious block that I'm doing with one center square and then doing log cabin style, for a better phrase, around, and doing the same colors like whites, reds, whites, reds. But I did do a goof. This really, I can't even believe I did this. I realized after I put the second red, this was the second red on, I got to the end over here and I'm like, this is not right. So I'm going to have to fix it by putting, this should have a white strip here, you know, along here. But what that would look like, let me just show you. So I have to correct these corners. So I have to correct this and get a white strip. So if I just took a white strip, you know, I need to put some red on the end. So there would be like a light strip. So I just need to get like a chunk of red that I would sew on the end there. And then I can just match up that seam, okay, and then put the white out to here and then do the same this way, because this one also needs a white on it. So then I can put red and then red, because I thought I was done. I thought I had done the white around. I'd only done it on two sides, and I started red again on two sides. Duh. So that is what I have to do on that guy. Now what I've also done in order to work on this is I've taken all the scraps that I've had in the top of this bin, and I've taken the lights, you know, almost whites, and the reds. I'm keeping them more red, less of these sort of burgundy. Like this is from the Fall Frolic, these ones, but they're pretty, they're not the same sort of Christmassy red, I guess is a better way to say it. So I put them in sizes, like these are about the same width. These are, this one's not. So I just used, these are a bit wider. Same for here, these are wider. These are a bit more narrow. Here's a chunk I just added. And then these are more narrow, so that I can sew long strips of them and keep putting them around on this guy. So that is a little work in progress. It actually grows pretty fast. The one thing I'm looking at, you know, of course, remember it's lopsided. I've got the whites that have to go over here, but sometimes my white is, or my row rather, around is wide. Other times it's skinny. So that means that this center point, you know, floats as I'm working, and I ultimately want to have it kind of in the middle. It doesn't need to be dead center, but I don't want it like way off shifted, so I do need to monitor that as I'm going along. Also, as I'm going along, I will trim this occasionally, like maybe every 2 or 3 rounds. I will do a good trim, even. That way I know that I'm not getting like a bra cup, you know, coming, or a volcano coming up like this. I want it to be flat when I'm done. That is the goal, because I would like to get it as a wall size, I think. Or maybe I should just go big or go home and do it bed size. Can you imagine bed size? That'd be so cool. Okay, so there is this scrap block. That's my Scrap-a-licious for today, but I want to talk about that a bit more, scraps. So I have been, you know, creating things and making scraps all year, and I started that goal to save everything. Like I'm not saving these little bitty things like that all goes in here, but I've been saving lots of small stuff like this, which I'm gonna, you know, like that, and they're not that wide. In the past I would have just tossed that. I know, don't panic. That's what but it's the truth. You know, I don't have space to handle a lot of scraps. That's why I have to keep sewing them this year. I can't just store them. I don't have any storage space for them. So I keep sewing them up, which has generated tons of blocks. Plus I have this bin here still that I would love to actually have sewn by the end of the year. Like at the end of the year, I would like to like have no scraps in here, because then I have to decide what I'm going to do for next year, whether I find somebody who's willing to take those. No, I'm not mailing them to you either. So somebody local who is willing to take them, because I'm not sure I want to do a second year of those blocks. I still have all the blocks to put together, because I make a lot of things. So it generated quite a bit. And that's just part of the job of, you know, this being my job. Part of it is creating those scraps. So it's been super interesting. I really like this concept of just sort of building something out huge like this. This would make a great charity quilt. If this one's mine, but red, everything red. So, but that would just be fun. It would be a fun thing to experience. Okay, so Monday, let me just tell you this. I'll tell you this again at the end. On Monday, I will have a regular morning video, and then in the evening will be my chat with Heidi Kaizen of Hen Chicks. So you have to sign up for that so that you get the email with the Zoom link. That'll be your job, is to get yourself signed up for that. Today will be, well, Monday morning will be the last reminder of that, unless you see it on Facebook. So I want you to get in on that. All right, I did a little bit more thought on the secret lives of color. This is just so cool. My local friend Monica, hi Monica. Monica wrote me as soon as she saw my video talking about this, and she goes, I want to do something with you. I'll do it. I'm like, okay, that's all I needed. It's like one local buddy to go, I'll do it. So we brainstormed a bit and decided that we'll do for each color in the book, which is I think 72 colors, or I have to verify that. We'll do one shoe fly block. So what's a shoe fly block? Remember this piece of fabric I just showed you? This is what I had cut from the shoe fly blocks that I did demos. Okay, so here we go. Here is a 6-inch shoe fly and a 9-inch shoe fly. So I think that those are, there are two fabulous sizes so that you could do what works for you. And I'm thinking an 8x9 quilt. I don't have the math to tell you what that is, but an 8x9 quilt. So if you were doing 9-inch and you just set them side by side, they would be kind of like a lap size. And this would be smaller just side by side. But if I'm probably going to do the smaller. I haven't totally decided yet, but probably doing the smaller. But I might be convinced to do, I might convince myself to do the bigger one. And then I would do a setting if I do the smaller one. But either way, this is the block. It's super simple because 72 of them, that means about every, 4 or 5 days, you need to do a block, or because you'll have the book and see what color is coming up, you can just work ahead if it's not going to be to your advantage, or you could do like 2 or 3 of them at a time, and that way it is not so it's not something that will overwhelm you. For me, the fun of it will be reading the chapter and then picking a fabric that I own. And I also want to do all different backgrounds. So the cream part in here, I want to do them all, every single one will be different. That way I can have fun using, and I think I need some more novelty backgrounds. I don't know, I probably have 72. I probably have enough. I have like 3 bins of light background. That's too many, but I will use some of those up. So that is the secret label color. I'm going to read you a few sentences from another color, just to entice you, because seriously, this is going to be fun. Okay, this is the color taupe. The taupe is kind of a mushroomy brown, and depending on who's calling it taupe, I think sometimes it can be a lighter brown, sometimes a darker brown, but it is sort of a mushroomy color. Okay, so it says, sometime in 1932, the British Color Council, the BCC, began working on a special project. The idea was to create a standardized catalog of colors, complete with dyed silk ribbons to show exactly what color was meant by each term. It would, they hoped, do for color what the great Oxford Dictionary has done for words. It will mark, they wrote, the greatest achievement of modern times in assisting British and Empire industries with color definitions, thereby giving British trade a competitive edge. That's the beginning of the taupe chapter, which is, it's not really chapters. Well, they are, I guess. It's just 2 pages. So 2 pages. Some of them are 3 pages, but often the 3rd page isn't a full page. So they're not very long stories, but they're a story about the color taupe. So I'm very interested. I'm not reading any more of it. I didn't read any more of it. I only read the first paragraph, and because I want to see, well, how does taupe play into that story? You know, where did the author find taupe, and why was that story significant to the color taupe? So it is going to be super fun. You might have to buy some fabric to fit a color. Oh darn. But you know, that's the way life is. Sometimes you just have to buy some fabric. Now we are almost at the middle of the month, and generally the second part of December I do a lot of personal planning. I hope to get that started soon. I'd like to plan things for next year, wrap things up, clean things up. So I made like a little short list. This is my short list. Like, please, Pat, get these things off this list of items that are stacked around here to work on, like the binding on the summer soiree, the binding on the other, you know, those 3 that I showed you the other day. And then a project that'll be coming out in January, you'll see, which is what is on the design wall. So those kind of things. You know, doing some of the part, I'd be a little behind on the happy everything because I don't have the sashing around the last 2 and have them sewn together, you know, those kind of things. So I was like, okay, I need to have that list for myself so I know exactly where I'm going, because I do have the bindings and the hanging sleeves for, that's for the Christmas quilt that has the hustle bustle fabric, and this is for the summer soiree, you know, so I have those 2 ready to go. Perfect. I feel ready. I have, I'm just going to swing you over there. See those shelves? See these? These need addressed. All of those. I actually need to empty all of those. Would you be interested if I did a video where I emptied them and sorted through them and sort of talked about what I'm looking at, what I'm going to do with stuff? I don't know if that's interesting, or is that boring as heck, you know? Like, would you just go and just sign off? It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure I would watch it, but it's like, maybe I would. I watch the garden lady do stuff that I think like I wouldn't maybe watch that, but I watch her dig holes and plant stuff, and I don't have the ability to speed. I'm sure the ability is here. I don't personally know how to speed it up without longer sections, or without, like, you can't do it without sound. Then I have to put music in it, and then you have to have music that's not going to get dinged by YouTube for copyrights, etc., etc. So anyways, I have not explored how to do that. Maybe sometime next year. So that means you're going to have to look at it sort of in real time, which I can snip parts out and skip along. But let me know. Let me know if you'd like to see me sort through bins of stuff. Okay, the other thing I want to point you to is there was a fabulous post in the Facebook group that I'm leaving open for a while. Generally, if posts are there for a couple of days and the activity is kind of everybody saying the same thing, then I close it so that other people's posts can be shown in the group. You know, like, you know, it's sort of like if everybody's just saying, oh, how pretty, you know, it just, you know, after 3 days, that's enough. But this is a post, somebody, you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of us struggling with either physical things, like I had my wrists, and now just having my face cut up and put back together is very stressful. It's a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of exhaustion afterwards. But this is a lady who had strokes, and so now she was trying to get back to quilting, but she has some fear and some anxiety of going back to quilting. And so there is so much helpful information in this post. I'm just gonna read you one. Okay, so Deb said, "You've got this." I mean, this is the kind of positive stuff. It just makes me just get goosebumps. Start small. Play with your sewing machine with scrap material. Threading your machine can be a big accomplishment. I can say that just after breaking my wrists. I mean, there was nothing wrong with my you know, I didn't have any mental struggles like a stroke would cause, but I had physical struggles with being able to use my fingers. They just did not work. They didn't bend. So I understand that. Move forward, move backwards on your machine. I think once you start, you'll be fine. See, isn't this great? It's the initial process that's holding you back. Once you start there, there'll be nothing to hold you back. Perhaps a friend or family member can sit with you. And many, many people said fear is what holds you back. And it's true. It's true. And The machine is nothing to fear. Your sewing machine is nothing to fear. You might feel your rotary cutter. Fear this if you don't have the abilities yet to really use it. So use pre-cuts or something else. There's tons of great information. So I'm linking you down below here in the description box. And if you've never looked for the description box here on YouTube, please give it a try, because I answer all these things in the description box, and it'd be so good if you could just, you know, find it. You can do it. You can do hard things, like find the description box at YouTube. All right, my friend. If my Scrap-a-licious. Ta-da! If you have a scrap quilt going on, show it to me over at the group at Facebook. I love you. Mwah. See you online.